Hello, everybody. Welcome to Xeeva's third Supplier Showcase. My name is Quinn Phelps. I'm the manager of the Supplier Marketplace, meaning my job is to find new suppliers for our marketplace and connect existing suppliers to our customers through sourcing events, catalogs, punch out, and through direct referrals. Our Supplier Marketplace consists of over 300 suppliers that are leaders in their industry across the globe and proven that they can provide a consistent quality of product, a high quality of product, a high quality of work on a consistent basis for our customers. Today, we learn more about Augusto Digital directly from Augusto Digital themselves. They provide IT services by building software that is customized for their customers' needs, and they take an individualized approach to each product to make sure they provide maximum value for each one of their customers. They just responded to an RFP to one of our largest customers, American Axle, and they got great feedback for their high quality of solution and their high quality of product. Today, we're going to be hearing more about Augusto Digital directly from Daniel Negro and Jim Becher. Daniel Negro has been a good friend of Xeeva, worked with a lot of Xeeva customers in the past. He's one of the managers of business development, and Jim is the CTO over at Augusto Digital. So I'm really excited to learn more about all they can do for Xeeva's customers. So without further ado, Dan and Jim, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Quinn, and thanks to Xeeva. It's been an awesome relationship, and looking forward to a good opportunity here to tell a little bit more about Augusto to the rest of the Xeeva customer base, the ones I haven't had a chance to meet yet. So I've got a slide deck here. I'll see if I can get that going, and then we're going to tee Jim up to start things off for us. Now, if we are good to go, again, thanks for having us. My name is Daniel Negro. I'm the business development manager for Augusto Digital. Joining me is Jim Becher on the call as well. Jim, why don't you take us off here?
Great. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for allowing us a couple minutes to talk about Augusto. I'm Jim Becher. I am CTO, also a co-founder and the director of our strategic partnerships. And we've listed up on the screen the rest of our leadership group, and hopefully get an understanding of the people that when we work with you, will be part of that team and have a chance to talk with the different companies that we meet with. Next, I'll talk about Augusto and our history. So Augusto was founded in 2016. We are based out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, so in the Midwest. And over the last 6 years, our mission has been to help our clients achieve their business dream. This goes across many different industries, and we do this by providing cloud-native software design and development with support. Our background as we started this, myself and the two other founders, Joel Ross and Brian Anderson, we started this long-standing relationship. We started our careers together, and we proceeded then in one company for about 9 to 10 years and moved to another, where we were Microsoft Gold partners and consultants. At one point, the three founders, we split different directions. Brian started application development practice. Joel worked in development as a manager with a B2B SaaS company, and I went to work as an enterprise manager for enterprise architecture in a large retailer. So we were born out and came together because of our love for software and SaaS projects. And we believe that it's important that all of these things, whether it's customer facing or internal, require the same discipline to be successfully implemented and optimized when we hand it to our customers. This slide here talks about our technical experience. Our company, we focus on getting top tier talent. And what we like is both have development that exceeds and excels with technology, and our management team that we bring together when we come to projects. Our focus is web, mobile, IoT, data, and we are definitely manufacturing focused, trying to bring in Industry 4.0. I'm going to slide it. So here's just a list of some high level technologies and the expertise that we can bring. Cloud, all of the major cloud providers. We have an understanding and experience with each. Mobile, you can see we try and look at mobile from a standpoint of how it's delivered. We want to make sure that we're meeting our customers' needs, and we've got all the major providers and the methods to develop and build out mobile. Front-end development, that's the customer experience, the user interface. The list we have here, all modern, and in addition to modern, we work in all of the existing platforms. And then lastly, the back-end services. These are the technologies used to build that back-end and performance and optimization. So on top of those core technologies, we also lay in these different platforms between databases, reporting, RPA. Each one of these, and it's different in spaces, like a database, for example, can be on-premise or in the cloud. We have an expertise in a group of developers that have worked in almost all the major platforms. Under reporting, we've definitely taken advantage of cloud native, AWS QuickSight, Power BI, utilizing these cloud technologies. And then the last one is RPA, robotic process automation. That's the ability to automate steps, sometimes historical steps in companies, and to make sure that it can be replicated, modernized.
All right, thanks, Jim. So I wanted to take a step back and really think about what the product development lifecycle looks like. I think that this is a great visual representation. When you think about, a software application, whether that's a mobile app, whether that's an ERP system, most of our engagements when we get brought on is going to fall into one or multiple of these different phases of that product life cycle. We have found a tremendous amount of value in, especially when it comes to developing a product from the ground up, something that didn't exist before, and you've got either an idea on a napkin or you've got a business challenge that you can solve through a new piece of software. We've found a tremendous amount of value through organizing the work into these different phases. So when you think about how we would stand up a team to start working on either building an application, an integration, a customization, any of that, this kind of overviews what the engagement model looks like. Typically, you're going to have a business product owner on the client side that's well aware of the ins and outs of what's trying to be achieved. You're going to have, possibly development team on board on the client side. You're going to have executives, customer service, everyone that's going to end up using the application that has, deep involvement and a lot on the line for the success of the project. So we work really closely and collaboratively. From the Augusto side, we typically see this diamond almost form. And what that usually is we would assign a project manager or an engagement lead to drive progress, to capture requirements, to manage the project using our scorecard, and to report and raise risks throughout the project. Are we on time? Are we doing well with the budget? Are we progressing through? Are there any blockers? So the project managers are incredibly important to the process. And then you've got, a technical lead. So we've got an awesome team of solution architects, senior developers who are experienced in running teams. It's not just about, do you know the code? It's not just about, are you familiar with the technologies? It's about running an effective team. And that's something we take a lot of pride in. And in our technical leadership, our senior guys and girls are really fantastic. So you also have UX leadership. So much today, it's an assumption that the application is going to work. When you click the button, it needs to do what it's supposed to do, right? But how's that experience for the customer? Everything needs to be driven, or the user or the operator within the business, if it's an operational application. So much today is it needs to be a seamless, effective user experience. Working to reduce the amount of clicks to get the job done is hugely important. So we include UX leads on almost all of our projects. And then obviously you've got an account manager, and then you've got the rest of the team. So the developers, front end or back end. We have business analysts available to help actually go in and identify areas for improvement with applications. We've got support, platform specialists, and it goes on from there. So what sets us apart, right? So when I think about it, there's no shortage of software development firms that you could, Google around or get a referral to these days. It's an explosive industry. And to be able to competitively differentiate ourselves, we've established core values, and we live and die by these. I've seen that leadership from the Augusto founding team time and time again throughout our engagements, that these really do set us apart. So delivering value early and often, driving these application builds to a place where you have usable functional technology as quickly as you can in the engagement, super important. Doing the right thing. Custom software and building custom software is challenging to say the least. Requirements change, scope can grow. languages and updates, outages from vendors. There's so many different things that can throw a project a loop. And we really do believe in doing the right thing. We partner with our customers closely, and if they don't win, we don't win. That leads directly into the growth mindset. Always trying to get better, always trying to drive to a better way of doing things. We're entrepreneurs and innovators at heart. So these are really important values to us. That ties into servant leadership. And obviously, we take a lot of pride in the work that we do. There's no better feeling for our team to be able to see a working application being deployed in the field with thousands of users, driving feedback and loving what we built. So that's a big part of what sets us apart. When I think about Augusto, and probably a challenge that a lot of organizations, a lot of big organizations or small, when they've had experiences that didn't go great with a software development vendor, I see that the estimation process is usually where a lot of that culprit really lied. They didn't have an accurate estimate to begin the engagement. When you think about, hey, I've got an idea on a napkin, or we know we want to build this custom application. Well, how much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take to get it up and running, right? So I wanted to include this slide to talk a little bit about our estimation process, because I think it really stands out versus a lot of the competition. We start this process by conducting discovery calls, discovery sessions to capture requirements, to identify risks, and we begin organizing this stuff into a backlog of epics and stories. In some opportunities, there may be an RFP process that we go through where the customer's done a lot of the legwork and they've actually organized this stuff into a functional spec. We're able, with our engineering team, to export that functional spec, break that down into bodies of work, into a backlog that we can then begin to estimate. For other opportunities, they don't have anything. They've got a visionary CEO who needs someone to guide them through that project. And for those opportunities, we'll conduct prototyping or discovery sessions and gather all the requirements so that we can begin building out a story point estimation model. Once we calculate the number of stories, we're able to convert that into an hour approximation. We do that by converting the hours using historical data from previous projects. We're not just going off of someone's gut feel, right? It's incredibly important. What are our average teams doing? What's the velocity? How much work can we get done in a sprint? And then what's the average of that? So we're applying mathematics and historical data to predict how our engagements are going to go. How long are they going to take? We then define the team. We start to estimate the weekly allocations of time per role, and we use that data to build out the resource plan that models the time consumption by the resource over time. And then the final step is usually, a summary of these projected costs. We sit down with our clients, we talk to them about our level of confidence, the contingency factor we would recommend for that particular project. And lastly, what I think is so awesome, and there's a lot coming soon with this, but we manage our engagements using an agile scorecard. That's actually an Augusto trademarked process. This is something I have not seen a single other software vendor do. We share all of the data about the development velocity, the budget, how on track we are, and we're managing all that data and sharing it in real time during the engagement. We know if things are going right, and when they're not going right, we are talking about it in the project mid-flight. It's really fantastic. The results are awesome when you get to go through these projects together. So I wanted to highlight that slide. I think that really helps Augusto stand out against other vendors. So that brings us into, a service that we wanted to highlight here. We've talked about it, rapid prototyping. Building custom software, standing up dedicated teams, this is expensive stuff. It's a big investment. And while the technology has gotten much better and we've been able to make a lot of these things more efficient, if you're building an application from the ground up, you want to start with prototyping it out. So we've got a great team that can walk you through a wireframing process. And I've got a very basic, low fidelity, rapid prototype that we're going to actually demo for you now. So, and how are we doing? Can you guys see the screen? Okay. So this is a prototype that we built. It was a telehealth application. And the objective of this is not to make the most polished prototype that you've ever seen. It's to guide the stakeholders of the company that are going to invest in eventually building this through the workflows that they are going to map as requirements for the application. So our team guided them through how the consumer experience was going to be and how is that going to be received. This process can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, depending on the complexity and the size of the application. And what drives this is a need to really define the important critical features when we stand up a development team to go and build this, that we got everything right. We really were on the same page with what we wanted to build, in what order did we want to build it in, and how much was it going to cost? How long was it going to take? So these prototyping engagements allow us to gather requirements and really get on the same page with our clients to get to a consensus there. So I wanted to highlight that. And all right, let's.
While Dan's switching back to the presentation, one thing that does come out of a rapid prototype that I think is valuable to share is there's areas of the application that can do discovery that may not have been identified early on. That might be, in the example he shared, it had video conferencing. Well, initially it wasn't thought about, well, how many people will be on the video conference? How does it handle hundreds of people versus one or two? Those are items that during a rapid prototype, the stakeholders can identify. We can talk through that may either shrink the project or increase the project, or identify areas where we need to put more focus.
Thanks, Jim. And thanks for buying me some time while I navigate through these slides. Appreciate it. So the next slide here is, okay, let's say that we've gone through this prototyping process. We're ready to build, right? So again, we focus on building cloud native software applications. We're really taking advantage of the latest and greatest cloud technology. But what does that process actually look like? Well, a lot of folks have experience with the agile development process, but you would be really surprised that some of the larger corporate organizations that may have started following this, but over time, the incumbent IT teams are really just tasked with keeping things up and running, or maintaining the steady output of work that they do. When we bring a full new team and we stand up a backlog of work, we follow the agile process and we are able to achieve really incredible velocities, absolutely knocking out the builds for some of these applications with a dedicated team. Now, I won't walk through every slide on here or every box on here, but that discovery portion is so important. And then once you're actually in the sprint process, having great cadences and ceremonies as far as communicating progress, demoing what was built on a weekly basis, and even recording the demo. Augusto is one of the only companies I've seen do this, where we are recording demos and making that available to our clients. So if you have a stakeholder that couldn't make it to the meeting, they still have access to see where we're at, what risks we're raising, or how much progress we're making through the development process. So it's fantastic stuff, and it's important to highlight this. So that brings us to, okay, we prototyped it, we built it, you guys are using it, you're loving it. And like most software applications, they're never 100% done, are they? There's always something that you need to tweak. There's always an update that needs to get managed, or there's always an opportunity to optimize, which leads us to our support program, which, Jim, you're actually the head of. So would love for you to tell us about the support program Augusto has.
Absolutely. Once development's done and a company or a business has taken ownership of the application or deployed it to hundreds, if not thousands of users, things will be found that need to be modified. In some cases, the development team stays on, right? It's a long-term system that's going to continue to go for years. In other cases, it's getting to the end of that system and it's handed off to IT. We like to come in and offer our support services fast, convenient, and seamless. And it brings quite a bit of benefits around it. It helps the companies reduce ownership and labor costs. It frees up capital so our team can manage support and the internal teams can start focusing on other efforts. It'll increase your technical expertise by allowing us to continue with the knowledge we have or transfer that knowledge to your internal teams. And it identifies any outdated or unstable applications as time progresses. Dan, if you want to switch to the next slide. Our high-level offering, we like to provide and bring an omni-channel help desk. It's a mechanism to allow you as a customer to communicate with us. This could be a feature, a bug, and our team helps troubleshoot and prioritize. Not your typical help desk of break fix, bringing items in, taking a look at it, triaging. And one of the things that sets us apart is we attempt and put together what it's going to look like from an ETA. Is this a small thing? Is it a large item? Can it be handled right now? In addition to help desk, right away during application development, one of the offerings we provide during our development process is to turn on our support system and put in place application monitoring. Someone to keep an eye on and watch your application. These are simple items like, will the domain expire if it's a web application? Is it secured and the SSL certificate needs renewal? Or inside of the application, what's the uptime? What's the performance? If we're expecting a job or a process to take 5 minutes and it's taking 20, we want to have monitoring alerting set on that to notify either the team managing it or the business customers so they know they might have an issue at their hands. Then along with that, we have corrective maintenance, which is commonly referred to bugs or issues. So as the application continues to get used, there's always a new feature or a bug or something that comes up. One of the examples we always hear is, can we move this button because team members are clicking in the wrong place? Or can we put this over here to make the efficiency better of the application, maybe to move data from the processing to the ERP? And then lastly, we want to take into account adaptive maintenance. There is always something in the background that's being updated. Just like your Windows computer needs Windows updates, systems in the back end, infrastructure needs updates. There's versions, there's software patches, there's platforms and databases that need to be updated. Our team is versed in being able to manage and maintain that, plus set a plan in place if there's a large feature coming out. A great example we always talk about is APIs, application programmable interfaces, are used with different third parties. If that vendor is going to update, the application might need an update as well to match to it. So our support offering goes along with development. And at the same time, it's a full circle back to the diagram Dan showed earlier, where maintenance and support might identify items that need to be focused in the upcoming future. Discovery might need to happen again, or more development need to take on a new component or feature.
Awesome. Awesome. So that kind of segues into, the industries that we see and we currently, as Augusto continues to grow and work with new customers, right? Where are we working? So we actually do spend a lot of time in the manufacturing space. Healthcare has been crazy, to say it, lightly, right? So there's been so much change, so much innovation. Pandemic has really, driven an incredible amount, a need for digital transformation across all of these industries, financial services as well. So Augusto's got good experience working with clients facing digital challenges in these areas. We're going to highlight manufacturing first. And this is just a couple of the things that we see most common, or most recently. Custom integrations, that can be something like you've got an ERP system, but you want to integrate a third-party application that doesn't come standard with that ERP, right? So you may need a custom API written. We see a ton of stuff like that. E-commerce, obviously the distribution landscape, as it becomes more affordable for manufacturers to sell products directly to consumers. There are so many manufacturing organizations that did not have their own storefront or did not have the ability to tie in their storefront to their inventory, right? Are you advertising the right inventory at the right time? Are you showing current lead times? It's a tremendous amount of work, and we see a lot of demand in that space as well. Reporting and business analytics. There is more data now than there ever has been, and that's compounding. But what do you do with the data, right? How do you capture it? That's a huge challenge. A recent case study that we had saw us consulting with the manufacturer. They had multiple facilities across the Midwest, and they did not have, for all of the production machinery, the ability to capture data in real time, display it in a dashboard, show critical KPIs, and then do simple things like recording machine down logs. So are we seeing the same logs for the same machines across different plants? Is there, preventative maintenance that could prevent and stay ahead of a machine going down? All that stuff starts with capturing the data at the plant floor, being able to display it in real time or as close to real time as you can get, and having alerts and notifications set up, going to the right people to make informed business decisions. And then RPA. I love RPA. I use it, to automate manual tasks. Working out of Excel is great, but if you've got people on the team who are really being bogged down by repetition and manual processes, RPA is incredible. It's incredible, it's affordable, and we've got some great experts who can come in, consult with you, and write scripts to automate functions, free up time, focus on the stuff that really matters, that only you can do, right? So those are a couple of the highlights from the manufacturing space. We've got a fancy industry 4.0 diagram. I'm sure everyone's seen this before, or a version of it. We really have spent time in almost every one of these areas, from medical device, communication protocols, taking data, sending it up to the cloud, and displaying it. We would be excited to work with you in any of these areas. So quick highlight some of the ones that we're comfortable sharing. Again, we've got experience. We have worked with a lot of really wonderful companies in the manufacturing space. And it's an exciting time to be in custom software in the manufacturing space for sure. So to highlight a couple of the AWS services, Jim, maybe you can add some context to some of these that we're showing here.
Sure. Over the last few years, we've really focused on bringing our cloud native solutions and partnering. We partner with both AWS for Azure and Google, but one of our focuses is being a select partner for AWS. And inside of that, we've had a chance to work with the business groups inside of AWS. There's so many features and services in these different cloud providers that becoming an expert's a great thing, but also having the technology inside of that, how to code to it, how to use it. So we focused time on Amazon QuickSight, which is the reporting and the BI component inside of AWS. We've got a chance to take raw data like Daniel talked about earlier, build dashboards, KPIs, set triggers on these things, and take a massive amount of data and be able to make decisions on it. The Amazon IoT Core allows you to connect, scale, and pull fleets of both devices, computers. It's that connected technology that allows you to amass all this quantitative data, whether it's from the shop floor, knowing a machine is online, or whether it's sensors on a device that's maybe running in the warehouse or something that's off at the consumer location. In addition to that, the last one that we've had some great opportunity to look with is Amazon's AI and ML. So machine learning and artificial intelligence. And one great way to see machine learning in place is through QuickSight, just being able to take existing historical data and point machine learning at it and maybe do a forecast or maybe do a build schedule, take advantage of the data you have and put logic on top of it. These are just some of the services that we wanted to highlight. There are many more inside of all three of the providers that can be utilized and taken advantage of.
So taking us to another industry, I won't spend too much time here, but Augusto has built up a very strong offering and resource pool, very knowledgeable senior developers and solution architects that are working in the healthcare space. Interoperability is a massive focus. We have experience engineering digital products. We have experience in building HIPAA compliant cloud applications. And in leveraging the power of the cloud to do that, whether it's AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. Again, just some of the ones we're comfortable showing, but proud to work with some of these really innovative organizations. And the fun part about healthcare for me is that we're genuinely working to help it become easier to keep people healthy, save lives, right? And you can feel good about the work you do in this space. So wanted to share some of that. And then the last area that we've seen really take off, we've worked with a lot of financial services clients, big, large institutions, legacy systems, migrating to faster, more efficient cloud applications. It can be anything from a quoting widget on the front end of a website to how you manage your data infrastructure on the back end. So comfortable sharing some of these great clients that we have worked with. And that brings us to the end of the slideshow. So thanks for letting us go through and do our thing. And we're happy to stick around if there are any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate the level of depth you guys went into, really showed the versatility of your products and services. I think the team-oriented approach as well, and all the different industries you can play in is something that really exciting for our customers and really exciting for us. And I'm really happy to have you guys in the marketplace. And I did have a few questions that I feel like kind of go off some of the points you made in your presentation. But I think the first one for you guys is, what products and services do you guys provide that you feel is the most popular for your customers, and what ones you think will be the most popular of Xeeva customers?
So I'll jump in first, Jim, and maybe you've got a different idea. So, and you've been, obviously, Jim's been with the company a little longer than I have. So for me, the past year or so, I've really seen, and we highlighted it here, but rapid prototyping, man. I mean, if you're thinking of building a new application, to be able to get with, a senior technical, like a solution architect, and then like a UX lead, and within a couple of weeks, you can take your idea and have a prototype you can actually click through. You captured all the requirements for it, and now you can go and you can gain stakeholder alignment to fund the project. Or if you're a startup, excuse me, if you're a startup, maybe you've got enough funding to get to the clickable prototype stage, and then you can use that in the slide deck to go and raise the next round, to really put some substance to what you're talking about with your vision, map that out. So I've seen a tremendous amount of demand for that. And, manufacturing space, especially, I mean, corporate innovation teams looking to turn what they're building into, SaaS products. It's got to start with getting on the same page about what you're going to build. So that's been one I've seen a lot of in Xeeva clients that are interested in that. I mean, that stuff's really great for us to work through. So,
and I'll just add on to that, that step, that visualization, whether it helps you, pitch it, or whether it's the innovation team trying to prove it, that moves a little bit further past rapid prototyping into what's called an MVP, minimal viable product. Taking that first step after these screens or the UI UX and proving out those features. Maybe it's a innovation idea that no one's ever done before in the manufacturing space, something with the connected floor, the smart floor in manufacturing. Being able to do a small incremental work of an MVP and prove it out. Can we get the data we need in and out of their ERP system? And can we get it to a mobile device so different teams can make decisions? So I think the rapid prototyping that flows into an MVP that bites off small chunks and delivers things quickly has really been one of our popular solutions.
That's great. Yeah, something I loved in your presentation is kind of talking about how you guys can provide value across the entire project lifecycle. You don't just leave customers at the lurch. Once they start using the solution, you kind of work with them to make sure it's working and it's still providing value.
Right. I see it helping too, to add one more piece, how much is this going to cost, right? That's like one of the most critical questions. How much of an investment is it? We know that this will help. We know that there's going to be an ROI if it's an improvement of a business process, or if it's a product we're going to sell. Well, what's it going to take to get there? And that's a big step, map it all out. Let's figure out what the tech stack's going to be. How's this going to flow, and how much is it going to cost? So that's a really important part of the process, right?
Absolutely. And it kind of goes into my next question. You guys kind of talked about it a lot, but I know that one of your biggest industries is manufacturing, and that, of course, is one of the biggest industries for Xeeva customers as well. The top industries that Xeeva has for our customers are automotive, manufacturing, consumer packaging goods, and oil and gas. So we have lots of manufacturing customers that are looking to connect with suppliers. So how does your solution specifically help manufacturing companies?
I think that some of the work that we have seen and we have done when it comes to data analytics, right? Supply chain has has been a challenge for every manufacturer, whether you're a mom and pop tool and die shop or you're a tier one with facilities all over the globe. So being able to pipeline data in real time and build out, forecasts, leveraging some of the more modern technology, whether it's machine learning, whether it's, a quick site application, being able to get a better insight into demand planning. Some of those things are really powerful. Even if you can move the needle by 1% or 0.5%, it's a tremendous cost savings opportunity. So some of the work that we have done in that space with some of our clients has been exciting, and I know that there's more of it out there for sure. There's folks looking for a good team that can come in and help with it, right?
And I think you nailed it there. I think that whole idea of system integration, and when I think of system integration and this, what we can do in manufacturing, it really does bring in the cloud, right? What does it look like to migrate data to the cloud? Sometimes migration is just taking your IT systems and putting it there. But a lot of times when we're the application development team, it's putting data there, and not only just random data, but putting data there that paints a picture. That how do I get the ERP system or shop floor data or device data all in one place and build upon it? So this cloud migration, though it has a broad spectrum, I think in manufacturing can be pointed on just where Dan said, on data and data analytics. And I see that continuing to grow. Data is not going to stop. It's really just a matter of how you take advantage of it. How do you make it cost effective? And then how do you make meaningful, important business decisions against it?
Absolutely. I think that's something that we've definitely seen our customers have challenges with that need help with. So I'm excited you guys are there to sort of help them out with that. And that kind of goes into another point I had. Something that I love about you guys, you take that consultative approach of your customers. We saw you take it with American Axle when you responded to the RFP. You really make sure you tailor your solutions to who they are as a company. How have you seen that provide value to your customers? And do you have any specific examples you can share with us of this helping your customers?
I can riff on that, Jim, and you can call me crazy right after. Sound good? So I have actually seen a lot of times we are brought in with, a client having a pretty good idea of the direction that they want to move in, right? They're asking us to do X, Y, and Z. And we are very rarely just going to come in and say, yeah, okay, we'll just do that. And here's how much it'll cost. We come in, we bring a lot of innovation. I have seen us come in and recommend to a client, hey, we don't think you should build a new application here. We think that what you have can be customized and can be made more efficient. We can optimize what you have, and if you do the analysis on what your investment would be to build it new or to maintain what you have. So that's a lot of really keeping the customer's best interests at heart, but also we don't want to build something just to build it. It needs to be the right decision to do that. And I've seen that a couple of times now where we've come in and ended up working with the client and reset the direction, understanding the need and what's possible. So that's what my answer would be there.
I think to go along with that, it's just to say this, we've become a trusted advisor. Once you find a good product owner or the person that wants to build something, being able to build that relationship, you mentioned the diamond earlier, UI team, dev team, engagement lead, and being a partner, knowing what the right decisions could be. And that's been successful for us. We've got a lot of long-term partners. What I mean by that is we get into a project, we finish this project, and the group there's like, that's great. We have this thing. Can we integrate it over here? And that team ends up not only building a final solution, but then adding on to it and continuing. And I think that's just because of some of the tooling we've talked about, our experiences. One item, I'll pivot for just a second, is a tooling we've called Augusto Engage. Dan mentioned it, how we manage projects and give visibility. During our project, during the agile life cycle, being able to demo, talk to people where we are with the stories and the backlogs, showing progress. And then inside of that, actually showing where we are, taking that estimate and showing out where we are in terms of, the capital outlay. So I think all of those together is hopefully building a good experience with all of our customers. And as we continue to grow inside this partnership, learn more and more about what people want and being able to be helpful in setting the direction for them.
Absolutely. And we're excited about that too. And that goes into my final question. This might be a little more for Dan because Dan has experience with Xeeva customers, but based on your past roles, Dan, working with Xeeva customers, what challenges do you typically see Xeeva customers having, and what can Augusto Digital do to solve those challenges?
You know, as you've kind of alluded to, I've been a Xeeva partner in the past, and in a previous role, I had an opportunity. I've toured. I think I did the math once. I had to look back a couple of years at my calendar and add it up, but I've toured almost 3,000 production facilities in the past 4 or 5 years. And I've seen the full gamut, man. There are facilities that I have seen that shall not be named that definitely, you know, might have been not happy if OSHA walked through. And then I've also been fortunate enough to have seen, my God, some of the most modern, cleanest, most advanced production facilities on the planet. And it's awesome, you know, being in Michigan, we really are an industry leader in that space. But some of the things that I've seen that jump out to me that I remember, I mean, data is great once you have it, but capturing it, it's the stuff you don't know about. It's inventory records at the plant level. And that's some of the stuff Xeeva solves for that is really awesome to see. And obviously we bring you guys in every chance we get because we know you're going to help. But some of the things that I've seen that jump out at me are, you know, capturing the data in the first place is half the battle, right? So that's a big piece. And then I touched on RPA, you know, manual processes that are open to you know, prone to human error, things that can be captured in an application instead of having a person do it. I've seen a lot of that, especially at the plant floor level, right? There are a lot of things that you can build simple applications to do, streamlines a lot of processes. So those are the ones I'll leave you with, and we'll save some of the plant floor walkthrough horror stories for a different call. But
yeah, no, we'll have a separate supplier spotlight where you guys can you can just talk about that.
Great.
But,
yeah.
Awesome. So I guess the last question is, you guys have anything else you wanted to mention or talk about that you want to kind of convey to our customers?
Exciting to have an opportunity to go through this channel, right? To do this webinar, to be able to be part of the great things you guys are doing. We've already seen an RFP process. We've had a chance to interact. We'd love to do more.
There you go. Yeah, no, I would just say we love coming in and doing the consulting work up front. You know, we don't charge for a lot of that. So if you guys are interested, if you're watching this and you're a Xeeva partner right now or a client, we'd love to talk. You got an idea you're thinking about, you know, that involves software technology. We'd love to chat and see where we can help. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dan and Jen, for taking the time to present with us and speak to our customers and do this webinar. I know this isn't gonna be the first time that we talk and get you guys connected with customers, so I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for everyone watching. This is our third Supplier Spotlight. It's so much fun doing it. If you guys are interested in learning more about the Supplier Marketplace or working with Augusto Digital or contacting Augusto Digital, you can always contact me at quinn.phelps@xeeva.com, or you can always call me at 301-310-3149, or you can contact Dan and Jim directly. We're gonna have their contact information on this post at the end of this video, so they're the experts. If you want to learn more about Augusto, definitely reach out to them. But thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.